Welcome to the Live, Love, Rock Music Master Series. I'm your host, Cher Cronus, and today we are at the beautiful Hollywood Roosevelt in Los Angeles, California, with music artist Eva Gardner, one of the most prolific bass players of our time. Thanks for joining us, Eva. Let's dive in. How did you get started, and when did you become interested in playing bass?
So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and I grew up with a musician father. He was a bass player as well. And my parents had a bar and restaurant that also had bands playing and musicians coming through all the time. A lot of my dad's best friends were also musicians from his time back in the 60s and 70s in England. So I just grew up in a very rich musical environment. I was always around it. There were instruments around when I was growing up, and the stories, my parents' friends would get together and talk about their experiences and how much fun they had. Oh, back in 1967, when I went on this tour, my dad talked about going on tour, opening for the Rolling Stones in 67 and playing early shows with The Who, and just hearing how animated he became, and all these guys were when they told these stories and talked about those times. Lots of laughter, lots of joy, and it just made me feel like I wanted to do the same thing.
Right. And that's what music does, right? It brings joy. And I think it's one of the greatest gifts that we've been given is the ability to either be exposed to music through the radio or whatever it is, or live music, or have the ability to participate in it. And when you do have that ability to be able to do that, or you're afforded the resources to be able to do that, I really think that makes a huge difference in a person's life and everybody that experiences your music too. You know, you've played with Pink. How were your experiences? Like, what was it like being a performer on stage, and what's really stood out to you? And what was your epiphany that it's like, this is what I want to do?
I didn't always love performing, actually. I took piano classes when I was a kid, and I chickened out of my first piano recital. I was so scared to play in front of people. I got so upset. And my little baby sisters, they also took their twins, and they're 3.5 years younger than me. We all took piano lessons, and only one of us, 1 out of 3, actually did the recital. And I remember just being scared to death. And I think there were quite a few factors. I think it was just an intimidating thought for me to perform in front of people. But once I started playing bass, I was like, oh yeah, it felt natural, and it just made sense. And I couldn't wait to play and perform. I think having the right teacher, having the right kind of experience makes a big difference in your enthusiasm as a kid. And so once I found bass and started doing that, I just loved it so much. One of my first shows was at the Whiskey, where we were last night, and I was 15 years old. And I got to see all my high school friends there. You know, they were all hanging out. There weren't that many people there, you know, but they were all in the front row out of 2 rows, you know, maybe of people that were there. And it just was so exciting to have them there and singing along. And it was a way to connect, I think. And I look back now, and I still find music as a way to connect to people. I think connection, whether it's the people you're on stage with or people in the audience, people after the show, people before the show, people that are working as crew members or whatever it is, it brings people together.
To your point, it's not just about the performance. There's so many people that it takes to put on a performance, and you can't not be inspired by that. It's a giant team, everybody working together and creating this like a magical evening. And I think that's wonderful. Aside of all of the concerts that you've participated in, all the performances, stage performances, I mean, I know Pink is over the top. Like it's incredible. It's probably one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Cher as well. Very elaborate, lots of moving parts. What's the most memorable one? If you had to pick the one that you were just like, you yourself were in awe.
There's so many beautiful moments. But I will say that one that stands out in particular in my mind right now is when I first started to play with Pink. And I'm playing my very first show with her. I had like 1 rehearsal with the band. I found out from the time I got the gig to being on an airplane, it was only a matter of a few days that I had to like get the whole set together and fly out there. So it was a whirlwind. And I got out there and I only met her at like sound check before the first show, and it was crazy. But I'm here at Malahide Castle in Ireland near Dublin. And I play the first part of the show, right? There's all of us. And then she breaks into an acoustic set. And it's just her and the guitar player and a couple singers, 2 singers, and they are singing a song acoustic. It was Dear Mr. President. And I was looking out at the crowd and I'm standing on the side of the stage. And at that moment, it hit me. Like there were people moved to tears. People were singing along. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, this is an incredible moment. I'm playing with an incredible artist. Wow. And it was at that moment it hit me. Like I was moved from the side of the stage. Like I was moved almost to tears at that moment. And it felt like such an honor to be part of something like that really means so much to people.
Yeah. I know, like I said, probably the most incredible performances I've ever seen from Pink. And I think it's because you can see almost inside her soul when she's singing. She really puts herself out there, and being an artist, that's what I want to do, right? I want to be able to wrap what's in here and give it to be able to do that. And then actually people feeling that too. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. And to have an artist go from having the big production, the lights, the video, and the dancers and the acrobats and all the stuff, all the moving parts, and then have a section of the show. She still does an acoustic part of the show. Right. And have a part of the show where it's just broken down and she channels her inner Janis Joplin or whatever it is, that she's singing at the time. And it's a really pure moment. And it's super raw, and it's, I become a fan. I get to be an observer those moments when I'm not playing. I'm watching and
up close and personal too.
Up close and personal. And to witness that is pretty special.
As an artist, your dad was a performer. You met a lot of performers, worked with a lot of performers. What's the best advice you've ever been given as you are, going through your career, meandering through all the different phases of it? What stood out to you as the most helpful, something most impactful?
I think the biggest thing for me is be prepared. Mm-hmm. And that being prepared gives you confidence. And being confident gives you a good performance, right. And a good rapport with an audience. And I think that's the biggest thing is being prepared. And because being confident is also like a huge thing. So it's hard to be and command your instrument or the stage or whatever it is when you're like freaked out or you're like, oh no, wait, and I always have what's called the gig mares, nightmares about like, oh no, I didn't learn the songs and I'm on stage and it's always that kind of thing. Or, oh, I forgot to change my strings or whatever it is. Like those are the recurring nightmares that always happen that usually come down to preparation. Oh, I forgot to bring an extra cable, whatever it is. So preparation, I think, is a big one.
When we were at Rock Fantasy Camp, I went to the master class that you put on. And one of the things that I was really impressed with was your candidness and how you were able to just let loose, be crazy, even in front of us, and how that's so important. So I guess that goes back to the confidence, the being prepared maybe a little bit, but also how much stage presence is such an important part of being a performer. And if you don't have that confidence, your stage performance suffers, right? Your whole sense of being just kind of breaks down. So what advice would you give to kids that they're getting on a stage for the first time? How can they be the best that they can possibly be? What's the trick to being a little bit crazy and being okay with that?
One of the most helpful tips is recording yourself. Before you get on the stage, record yourself. Take a video of yourself. If you're singing or performing, take a video and see what you look like. See how you come off. It's information. Are you doing something weird with your arm or some mannerism that might look kind of interesting or strange or not something that you want to be doing on stage, see how you carry yourself before you go out there and have everyone else see how you carry yourself. And it also can help with technique. It can help with stage presence. Like practice your moves like in front of the mirror and then record yourself practicing the moves. Do it in costume. Put on an outfit first before you wear it on stage. See if it's comfortable. See if you can move around okay in it. See if you're like, for me, as a bass player, I carry a strap. So I want to make sure that like the top I'm wearing is comfortable. Because a lot of time, if it's something that's beaded or has rhinestones on it or something like that, it won't work with my instrument. If you're a keyboard player sitting behind a drum kit, try the outfits on before you go on stage.
Tell me about Rock Fantasy Camp. How did you get involved with David, with the whole camp itself? I mean, the camp is pretty phenomenal because it gives so many people an opportunity to jam with, their idols, learn a lot. And I was just so impressed. Even last night, at the showcase, these kids are they're blowing my mind. The vocals, the presence, the everything. Mm-hmm. And, that's largely due to mentors like you.
They put in the work though, also, right? That's the other side of it is I'm so impressed by how dedicated they are and how they want to get better. They want to learn. They want to they're open to taking instruction or constructive criticism or tips from people who've been doing it for a long time. And it really shows that they've done the work and they put in the time to learn the songs before we get in the rehearsal room, to do the homework before we get there. And that's showing their professionalism already and makes their performances and their stage presence and whatever it is, the way they carry themselves, like that much better because they're practicing. They're doing these things that help to improve on what might be like raw talent or whatever it is. Like you can have raw talent, but you also still need to work on it and do the work and practice and put the time in and effort and be able to get like knocked down here and there because it happens to all of us. Right. I mean, I've failed many auditions. I've bombed many, made plenty of mistakes on stage, but it's getting that experience and being open to learning along the way and coming to a place like that camp where it's hard work. It's not just an easy breezy day. Like we're in those rehearsal rooms for hours at a time. There's workshops, there's panels, there's there's that. So it's a lot. It's been an amazing experience to see people grow in just a matter of a few days. You
are being inducted to the Hall of Fame for Rock Fantasy Camp. And what does that mean to you to be able to have that opportunity and be recognized? Because it's phenomenal. You do great work. You're in a group of many talented performers that are being inducted. It's an absolute honor. And you know what it tells me is it tells me that I've been helpful. What I'm doing and what I'm offering is valuable and that it's helping people. And to me, that's everything. I want to be able to give back. And I had a lot of help along the way. I had people who would come and I wasn't paying them for their time or taking lessons or anything, but they would help me with whatever it is, some advice or a tip here and there. They would see me on stage and say, hey, maybe you can think about doing something like this or trying it this way. So it just shows that I'm on the right path and I'm helping people. So, well, I think you deserve it. Thank you. One of the things that impressed me as well about the camp is that everybody kind of stayed in touch. We made a lot of really great friends. The advice didn't stop at the camp. People are very open. No one really has an outlandish ego. Everybody has a little bit of an ego, of course, but no one really was put off by anything. It was such an incredible team of people and campers and just everybody involved. And I think that's monumental to pull something like that off, especially over and over again. I know you have another camp that's coming up soon too. If anybody wants to participate in something extraordinary, they definitely need to sign up for these camps because it's an opportunity of a lifetime. It's a special experience and you get up close and personal with people that you might not get to have access to otherwise. Yeah. And that goes for the headliners, that goes for the counselors, and you are in the same room on the same stage with these people. Right. And it's not every day that happens. Well, what's next for Eva? I am continuing to do camps.
And I am doing some solo music. I'm recording my own music to scratch the creative itch, and doing a little bit of touring here and there. I'm working with schools, doing some workshops around the country right now.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As you know, Live Love Rock is a media company. We also have a charity called Angels in Music, and we raise money to sponsor underprivileged kids that want to be in the music business, so that they can take those classes, so that they can get those services, get that ride to a lesson, or buy an instrument. Rock Fantasy Camp and just the foundation itself, it's like dear to my heart. And that's why I just keep coming back. Thank you for providing your talent and your advice and everything. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.